We are actually here. Holy, another election cycle is, well, starting to heat up, to be completely honest, because we've got some new slots that are going to be available in 2024, and then there's another one that's going to be happening very soon. Okay, I've alluded to it in a couple of different videos, so might as well, because, well, that's going to be talking about a Senate race to begin with, so at least throw this in at the beginning, okay? I want to cover all my bases, make sure I talk about everything, okay? Jim Banks running for U.S. Senate seat representing Indiana. He'll be great. Jim Banks is tremendous. Representative Jim Banks of Indiana on January 17th said that he's running for the U.S. Senate seeking to succeed Senator Mike Braun, who's fine. Radical socialist Democrats are trying to change America. Okay, thanks. Nice boilerplate opening, but I won't let them. Banks, 43. You're a politician? You're only 43? What is going on here? Get some young blood in here. I said in a campaign video, I've been on the front lines fighting for America First policies in Congress. That actually checks out. He's not just using that as a marketing slogan. You know, he's one of the Goodmans. Banks, a military veteran, has sponsored or backed legislation aiming to secure the border, hold the Chinese Communist Party accountable for stealing jobs, prevent biological males from participating in youth female sports. Come on, where's your sense of humor? And prohibit the teaching of critical race theory in schools and the military. In a preview of a possible break from Senate GOP leadership, a round of applause for that, which has drawn growing opposition from newer senators. Banks said that some Republicans would oppose his bid. Yep, exactly. But they have a warble to their voice and about only 20 years at most ahead of them, so they can fuck off. Indiana deserves a conservative fighter in the United States Senate. Yes. But the radical Democrats and the spineless Republicans are going to do everything they can to stop me. Yeah, I will just imagine, and I can go ahead and foresee there's going to be some fucking, establishment cuck to get put up against him in a primary, because Indiana is also the home of Mike Pence. So come on now. And we all know how much money old fucking goober McConnell likes to throw at, stupid fucking races. $30 million to Ron DeSantis, who was never any more than 20 points out from a fucking crushing victory. Yeah, okay, good fucking decision right there. And what was the bill on Dr. Oz? Oh, okay, cool. Money well spent. In a preview Banks was among the House Republicans who were critical of the Senate GOP for agreeing to pass a mammoth spending bill in late 2022 instead of fighting to delay negotiations until January, when Republicans took over control of the lower chamber. Supporter of former President Donald Trump is the first candidate to enter the 2024 race, which is wide open after Braun launched a campaign for governor. Incumbent Governor Eric Holcomb, a Republican, cannot run for another term due to term limits. All right then. Braun, a businessman who flipped the seat from Democrat control in 2018 midterm, supported Senator Rick Scott over a Senate leader Mitch McConnell. Okay, it's the best of a bad situation. I went over that ad nauseum at the time, but all the GOP senators up there, a vast majority of them are cucked, unless your name is like Mike Lee, Rand Paul, Tommy Tuberville. Like, there's 6 of them that are up there. That's about it. The rest of them can go fuck off. Josh Hawley. Banks, for years, was the leader of the Republican Study Committee. Oh, good. He knows about books. Described as the conservative caucus of House Republicans. But he lost his bid for House Majority Whip to Representative Tom Emmer. All right. Banks was picked to be on the House of Representatives panel investigating the January 6th breach of, the U.S. Capitol. Him, Jim Jordan, and there was a couple of other based individuals that Kevin McCarthy put up, and Nancy Pelosi's like, no, we just want Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. Kinzinger now works for CNN, and Liz Cheney is out of fucking work, but I guess she's going to go hunting with her father because he's in the market for a new partner, or somebody to pull the moose out of the bush. So, speaking of 2024, we got a race. We got a race that's going to be coming up, and it's going to involve a state with some funny results stemming all the way back to, well, her initial election to begin with. Okay, let's keep it a $1.50. Velma right there, not the Mindy Kaling version. But if you want to know where all of this oddity in the United States election process began, It happened in the 2018 midterm down there in good old Maricopa County, but can't get into the specifics on that because YouTube is a free speech platform. Senator reveals the main reason she left the Democratic Party. Oh my God, like anybody gives a fuck at this point in time. But Senator Kyrsten Sinema, I am an independent, but I still caucus with the Democrats. And keep that in mind. Keep that in mind right in the old back of your dome when election season rolls around. Who's going to be filling up those coffers down there in Arizona against? Well, we'll see who's going to be your opposition. Revealed why she left the Democratic Party late last year during a Tuesday discussion at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Wow, how many other independents are over there, and how many of them, I don't know, look like a feather duster? Like, bitch, what the fuck are you doing? But at the first time, like, yo, that picture's been making the rounds on social media for quite a long time. And if the first thing that you notice is that she looks like old man Winter from some of those fucking stop motion cartoons, and you don't notice the World Economic Forum in the background, hey bitch, Congress just fucking opened and you decide to get flued out to Switzerland? I don't think you have your priorities in check, and I don't really care what you have to say. Mostly because I have never simped for cinema. Okay, I'm gonna be an independent thinker. I'm gonna be a centrist that's out there, okay? Me and Joe Manchin, we're just really gonna bring balance to this busted two-party system. How do both of them end up voting at the end of the day? Oh, good job, sweetheart. Nobody fucking cares. But yes, Sinema said that she considered herself to be an independent. Well, I felt like lawmaker long before she switched her party affiliation in December. Oh yeah, because before she ran as a proud Democrat, she was also a card-carrying member of the Arizona Communist Party and Green Party as well. So you know what? Oh, you know, she's just getting older and not really aging gracefully, but she is getting older and wearing dumber things. But she's starting to grow up, and her political leanings are changing a little bit. Those who know me knows that I've always been an independent voice and always have been for things that I believe in for my state and my country. What's your voting record? Just about unanimously votes alongside Democratic Party lines. Okay, I'm an independent voice. Sure. Said Sinema during an event claiming that the January 6th Capitol breach created, I think, concern and fear for every patriotic American across the country. The breach itself, not so much, because I don't think that there's anything wrong about holding open a door for your fellow man or moving the velvet ropes out of the way. I was just more concerned about the political prosecutions of the FBI going after people for misdemeanor trespassing. I don't know, I consider that to be a little bit fucking more of concern, but to each their own, right? We're both independent thinkers. But in the resulting 2 years, the Democratic Party shared a narrative that said, we would not have any more free and fair elections in this country if the United States Congress didn't eliminate the filibuster, pass a massive voting rights package. As we all know, the filibuster was not eliminated. Yes, thanks, of course, to your great effort. A massive voting rights bill was not passed through Congress. Yeah, but all those spending packages and a bunch of other dumb shit was, but those are your two accomplishments. Congratulations. And I think, and then we had a free and fair election all across this country. You represent Arizona, right? Oh, okay, cool. Yo, man, she might have opposition. All depending about an upcoming appeal of a lawsuit. This one's kind of weird, okay? Because I understand Kari Lake has her eyes on the future, but let's be completely honest, okay? Even if she ends up winning that election contestation lawsuit, okay, what's ultimately going to happen in Arizona? Because, yes, Katie Hobbs, waddled up to the podium, placed her flipper on a Bible, and then took the oath of office, and she's the governor of Arizona. Sucks to suck. She wants to, spend $50 million to educate illegal aliens. Oh, I'm sorry, undocumented migrants into the state of Arizona instead of kicking them the fuck out. That's exactly what Arizonans want, right? Come on in. We have lots of empty space. You want to come play with sand in the desert? Yo, Kari Lake is still out there fighting the good fight, but is she going to challenge the independent Kyrsten Sinema in this next round? Because it'll be interesting, okay? Arizona had a good candidate in to oppose Mark Kelly. Okay, Blake Masters, still a good voice that's out there. Okay, but Kari Lake, yeah, Kari Lake's an actual fighter that's out there, and somebody that I'm sure Arizonans would love to vote for again, or at least for the first time, even though they might have thought that they did when they went down to the voting station. Arizona GOP candidate Kari Lake on Tuesday brushed aside speculation she might be running for Arizona Senate seat in 2024, following anonymously sourced reports she might. Where did those sources come from? CNN reporter Kate Sullivan. Was that one of the many reporters that Kari Lake was like, hey bitch, I can do your job 1,000 times better. Let me exploit you for being woefully underprepared and then just big sister you. Shit was funny. God, man, she was great. Wrote on Twitter Monday, I told Kari Lake is considering running for the United States Senate seat held by Kyrsten Sinema in 2024. Yeah, obviously, if this lawsuit doesn't go anywhere and there's still that fire and fury that burns in the heart of Kari Lake, I could anticipate, and I would be more than willing to understand her wanting to run for Senate, and she would have a good claim, to be completely honest. It would run very much in tandem with the guy who's ultimately going to win the nomination for the Republican side, unless they pull some really fuck shit in 2024. It would be a good dueling narrative that's down there, and Arizona's definitely going to be a place where there's going to be a lot of fucking rallies. I would imagine, okay, if we're going back to a regular debate schedule for the president, even though you've seen a lot of goofy ideas gestated in Arizona, especially during the governor's race, then Kari Lake was in fact a part of, okay, where Katie Blobs decided to fucking, sit out all the debates. I could see old frail Uncle Joe, who will, just after the election, don't know if they'll still be counting or anything like that in 2024. Motherfucker would be 82 years old. I can't believe this. I legitimately cannot believe this. But one of those presidential debates, I could see it happening in Arizona, because that's going to be one of those places. I've already seen breakdowns about, okay, we're going to be taking a look at the election map. Okay, there's going to be, 3 states that are going to be needed here, and if you can't get one of those, you're going to need these 2 as well, and then if not, it's going to be, okay, this shit is going to get fucking buck-ass wild here. And this is just the first, shot across the bow when it comes to political coverage for 2024, because it's going to be hot, it's going to be heavy, and there's going to be a lot more fuck shit than just a couple of humble nominations for Senate seats coming up. Her campaign told the Gateway Pundit that Kari is hyper-focused on winning her court case, as she is the duly elected governor, and her election case proves that. Okay, that's nice. And again, it's been taken up on appeal. That's her claim. Okay, I don't really know, man. They've been noted that dozens of people have contacted Lake to suggest that she might run for the seat currently held by Independent Kyrsten Sinema, who recently changed her party affiliation from Democrat to Independent. Sure she did. Let's see how she votes over these next convening couple of years. There has been several polls showing that she is the strongest candidate and could win. The corruption in D.C. is as bad as it is in Arizona, and we need to root out that corruption, but Kari's focus is on the election case and saving the good people of Arizona from Katie Hobbs. Yeah, because she's probably going to destroy, or at least try to terraform Arizona into just Eastern California. Let's keep it a buck. Earlier this month, Hobbs, who in her previous position as Arizona Secretary of State was in charge of running the election, was sworn in as governor. Oh, great. Yeah, hey man, I counted all the ballots and it turns out I won the election. It's so great. Don't challenge it at all whatsoever. But yes, the appeal has been expedited. And this is going to be interesting. Very, very interesting. On January 9th, the Arizona Court of Appeals ordered that Lake's case could go to a conference on February 1st. Could. That word's doing a lot of heavy lifting in this scenario. It could, maybe, I don't know, agreeing that the challenge should be handled as a special action petition. Lawyers for Hobbs have until Tuesday to respond and argue why Lake's petition should be rejected, and then Lakeside will file their rebuttal, and then ultimately this will all get decided, maybe, or at least heard out on February 1st. Okay. Arizona Supreme Court denied Lake's petition to transfer her lawsuit earlier in January. It wrote that the case would be heard before the appeals court first. Yeah, so it'll just go up this, ranked step, okay? So it lost in the lower court, okay? We know it got dismissed and whatever, okay? Even after, 3 days of a trial that unveiled a lot of stuff that we can't talk on free, fair, and open YouTube, but you can connect the dots if you want to read between the lines on that. More cliches aplenty. But anyways, okay, so from here it goes to the appeals court, and then it would go to the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court doesn't want to hear it until the appeals court hears it. You know, blah, blah, blah. Drag this out for as long as possible. Maricopa County Judge Peter Thompson tossed Lake's lawsuit on December 24th. Yes, Christmas Eve. Hi, here's a lump of coal in your stocking. Oh, and by your stocking, I mean the people of Arizona. After a two-day trial, and wrote she did not produce enough evidence. Yeah, she didn't have enough evidence. Like malformed ballots, borked chain of command, a bunch of reporting. Yeah, no, definitely not enough evidence at all whatsoever to raise suspicion. Okay, yeah, no, for sure. Arguing that she should be, oh, right, yeah, but she wants all of that fuck shit as well. But ultimately, though, let's be completely honest. There's an old saying when it comes to appeals. Appeals are for losers, so I'd imagine there's probably a little bit of her campaign. Kari Lake, I'm talking about in this situation. I can give a fuck about Kyrsten Sinema. Just go back to buying Cat Timpf's old wardrobe. Okay, nobody gives a shit about you, bitch. Okay, we're looking forward to the future. Who would be a good opponent to the old box wine mom right there? Kari Lake, if we're keeping it $1.50. But we'll have to see ultimately until that lawsuit is settled. Who will ultimately be opposing Jim Banks out there in Indiana, which Indiana is definitely a foregone conclusion. So Senator Jim Banks looks pretty good as long as he can get out of the primary situation. Same thing will go again with Kari Lake, because we've seen the establishment press super hard with Karen Taylor Robeson, if I remember the name right. Sorry, I got this autistic memory when it comes to goofy fucking names, but see if it'll be Lake Cinema 2024. Could be good. Could be fun. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.